Warriors, let's really talk about it. You know, I represent victims, survivors of human trafficking and sexual exploitation that cannot speak up for themselves, not able to. It's a very tough subject, but you all know that, warriors. I am the chief warrior, and I am here representing them. I've never been trafficked, exploited, and I cannot believe what is going on in our United States of America, not to mention around the globe. So, Lynn's warriors, we represent, we give voice, we give strength to all of those who can't. So join us, be part of this, because there's something we can all do. Today is November 17th, so I'm giving you plenty of time. Tomorrow, November 18th, has been billed as World Day aimed at ending child sexual exploitation and violence, bringing hope and healing to survivors. Now, warriors, I've mentioned this day before. It is so important that you join us. There's a virtual candle. All you do is say you want to light the candle and put in your zip code, and there is a map of the world, and you get a little light. Let me tell you why this is so important. This was sponsored, and I spent the day a week ago Monday, at the UN. Now, I'm not usually a big proponent of the UN. We'll leave that for another program. But anytime there is something I think has meat to it, and that we can get awareness, we can take actions, we can get movement to help children and all victims of human trafficking, which, by the way, I am going to start calling human slavery. Not trafficking. I don't think it's descriptive enough, because we have more slavery going on in the United States than any other time in history. Globally, we have estimates now of 50 million people enslaved. So I think human slavery, right? Don't you think that really, I'm interested, you could write your comments, really depicts it much, much better. We have everything from the forced labor slavery to the forced child bride slavery to the forced begging slavery to the forced servitude slavery, forced sex trafficking slavery, forced organ harvesting slavery. We got to start talking about it because it's out of control. And it is destroying our country. This is an American crisis. Believe you me, I would not be working in any of this, doing any of this hard work. But I have to, I must, and bring the information to you. So I want all of you to realize, when I went over to the UN, I met some wonderful, wonderful survivors, now adults, from sexual exploitation, child rape, all of the horrible things none of us really want to ever think about, but we must. We must, when statistics are telling us 1 in 4 children are exploited this way. That is an American crisis. That is a global crisis. So Lady Fatima Dimobo from the Republic of Sierra Leone sponsored this resolution. And excuse me for a minute there. I thought, let me go over to the UN. I live in New York City. Let me find out about this. And our good friend, Dr. Jennifer Wortham from Harvard, has done extensive research, everything, and presented such a thorough investigation. And I like her. She's a warrior. I just had to walk over there. And you know what? It was so interesting to watch the process of all the nations, all the countries coming together. There are 193 members of the United Nations in the General Assembly. And by the end of it, when the First Lady of Sierra Leone, many people give speeches in support of why we need this in America and around the globe. I mean, who could argue with child safety or giving, healing and recognizing adults, survivors of this trauma? Because remember, warriors, it is lifelong. It is not something that just goes away. It is so hidden, but it is so right in front of us. Remember, little things are, hard to keep straight, but big things just seem to, I don't think I'm really saying this the right way, but things you couldn't even imagine are true happening right before us, and people get away with it. It just seems unreal, but it happens. It seems like the little things people get caught up in. So I want all of you to go to the Lynn's Warriors Facebook, Twitter, find this virtual campaign. I'll be putting more up all day, all afternoon. It's late morning here. If you do nothing in this movement, it affects all of us. Remember, even if you don't have children, you have family members, sisters, brothers, community members. All of this human slavery, remember, I'm renaming it from trafficking, trickles down into our taxes, what goes on as a national security threat, what goes into the medical care, remember, lifelong trauma. We have a youth mental health crisis going on. How is that going to play out over the next decades with the healthcare system? We have the fentanyl crisis, which I think is people should be out in the streets screaming. So I want all of you to do something for this World Day. It doesn't cost any money. Let's leverage the internet for good. Let's recognize. Let's talk about it. Remember, the more we talk about it and scream about it and act upon it and put away this normalization of what's going on, just keep getting it out there, the more we'll win. So November 18th is World Day aimed at ending child sexual exploitation and violence, bringing hope and healing to survivors. And you're going to follow. This is your take action. Go to Lynn's Warriors Twitter and Facebook and light that virtual candle. You'll see it's very easy. Do one thing going into this season of thanks and the upcoming holidays. I urge you to do this. Every little bit counts. This is easy. It doesn't cost you a thing. And in the meantime, always remember to follow lynswarriors.org. Great time going into the holidays when families are together to bring up these issues, to discuss them. Go in with some digital safety. Talk to the kids about the platforms they're on. Talk about the drugs, fentanyl. Kids aren't just taking fentanyl. What's happening, it's being cut into marijuana, other opioids. The kids are being poisoned, and nobody's doing anything. And that reminds me, you should listen to, I have a new radio program, TNT Radio Live, every Saturday at 2 o'clock, tntradio.live, Lynn's Warriors, of course. And last week I had Dr. Mark Siegel. He's a Fox News contributor, among other things, practicing internist here in New York. And we talk about fentanyl and what's going on. So I suggest all of you find that interview as well. And keep being a warrior each and every day. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. And we have to come together. And we have to protect these kids. Because this is shame on America for letting all this go on. But take that action. November 18th, World Day, aimed at ending child sexual exploitation and violence, bringing hope and healing to survivors. And by joining and lighting that virtual candle, you're a warrior.